Welcome back to News 12 at 5. Joining us now to talk about school vouchers and some other topics is Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Good afternoon, Governor. All right, let's start out. If I'm a parent of a kindergarten teacher, what do I need to know about this?
So if you're a parent of a student at any level, whether it be kindergarten or high school, what parents need to know is they're going to have the opportunity to choose a school that's best for their child. I visited with parents in the Sherman area, for example, that had 3 kids in their family, and they said one went to public school, one went to private school, one was homeschooled, and they said each pathway was the right one for that child. The fact of the matter is that any one house, there are different children who have different needs, and the person who knows that the best is the parent of that child. We want to empower parents to choose a school best for them, while at the very same time ensuring that we empower our public schools by providing more funding for them as well as teacher pay raises so that we will put Texas on a pathway to having the best education system in the United States.
Okay, so we have heard from people who are opposed to the idea of public dollars funding private education. Obviously, public money comes with rules attached. So what guidelines do schools need to follow when they get this money? And what happens if private schools don't meet those same guidelines that public schools are held accountable to?
Well, listen, for one, the only schools that get to participate in it are schools that are accredited by the Texas Education Agency. Second, there's accountability every time a parent makes a decision about whether or not their child is going to attend that school. Parents, just like consumers at a grocery store, parents can go to a different school if they want to go to that different school. That's the power of school choice, and it requires schools to meet the needs of parents and be accountable to the consumer, which is the parent. At the same time, we want to make sure that these kids are getting a good education, and one thing that every private school that I'm familiar with provides, and that is a national assessment test to assess how children are progressing in their education.
Okay, so local school officials who we've spoken with, obviously we've done lots of stories about this, they say they believe this will hurt Texas public schools. For instance, Grayson County has a lot of strong districts, and for us, they're some of the largest employers in our area. So do these public school employees need to be worried about their jobs?
It's completely unfounded. I'll give you a couple of reasons why. First of all, the number of students in the school choice program are going to be about only 1/4 of the number of students who are in charter schools. Charter schools haven't put public schools out of business in Grayson County, and neither will school choice. Second, look at what's happened in other states where school choice exists, which, by the way, it exists in more than 30 states across the country. But if you look at Florida, for example, Florida has the largest school choice program in the country, and yet has the highest rated public school systems, including more public high schools at the high school level in the top 100 than any other state in the country. So school choice has not led to the decimation of public schools in other states, and it won't have that effect in Texas either.
Okay, so let's pivot to another school funding issue that you have made a top priority, property tax reform. You and other Republicans have made this a priority for several years now, but many are complaining that property tax bills are continuing to rise. So what makes this year different?
So, for one, last session we devoted $18 billion to reduce property taxes. This year we'll devote about $10 billion. And know this, the state does not impose a property tax, so we can't literally cut the property tax, but we can buy down those rates. One reason, as you correctly suggest, why people are still frustrated about their property taxes is because even though the state uses money to buy down those rates, the local property taxing jurisdictions go back and increase your property tax rates even more. So what I'm seeking to achieve this session, unlike in prior years, is to limit the ability of local taxing jurisdictions to increase your property tax rates even more. We want to make that more difficult, and by doing so, we will help keep your property taxes low for the long term.
Okay, I see. All right, we have another issue to discuss, and it's a big one here in Texoma. As you know, Sherman will soon be home to Texas Instruments and Global Wafers plants that produce the chips needed in everything from cars to household appliances. Now, President Trump recently called the CHIPS Act passed by the Biden administration a bad deal. Do you agree with the president, and what can you say to those here in Grayson County who may be concerned by the president's comments?
Well, a couple of things. Since he made that comment, he's come out and talked about ways in which he is actually going to be embracing and using the CHIPS Act, just in a different way. As he put it, bigger, better, bolder than what Biden put into place. But one thing President Trump wants to achieve, and that is to ensure that the United States is going to be manufacturing the semiconductors that go into every single thing that we use. And I want you to know also that Texas, last session, we passed our own CHIPS Act, where the state of Texas is providing funding for projects like the Texas Instrument and the Global Wafers project. We, Texas, ranked number one in the United States for the number one state for semiconductor chip manufacturing and exports. We will remain that way by supporting companies like Texas Instruments and Global Wafers.
Thank you. Well, I am out of questions, but before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
Listen, I think you got it all. The main thing is that we got to make sure that we put Texas on a pathway to becoming number one in educating our kids, just like we're number one in business. And we do that by providing teacher pay raises to attract the best teachers for our schools, and also giving parents the ability to choose the school that's best for their child.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. We will be right back.